Inside the mind of a psychopath, unmasking the disorder. You hear the word psychopath and your mind might jump to chilling images from movies. But the reality of psychopathy is far more complex. It's not about being a villain in a horror film. Psychopathy is a personality disorder. It affects how someone thinks, feels, and interacts with the world. People with this disorder often struggle to understand or share the emotions of others. They might lack empathy and remorse. This doesn't mean they are inherently evil. It means their brains are wired differently. This difference leads to a unique set of traits and behaviors. Understanding psychopathy is crucial. It helps us separate myth from reality. It allows us to see the human beings behind the disorder. And it's the first step in providing support and finding effective treatments. Primary psychopathy, the masters of charm and manipulation. Primary psychopathy is like a carefully crafted mask. These individuals are often masters of disguise, able to blend seamlessly into society. They exude an air of charm and confidence that can be incredibly disarming. They're often witty and engaging conversationalists, making them appear charismatic and likable. But beneath this polished exterior lies a chilling detachment. Primary psychopaths lack the capacity for genuine emotional connection. They see others as pawns in their games, tools to be manipulated for personal gain. They're driven by a need for control and power, often exploiting others without a shred of guilt or remorse. It's important to remember that not everyone who is charming or successful is a psychopath. These are just some traits associated with primary psychopathy, and they don't tell the whole story. The world as their stage. How primary psychopaths operate. Imagine a CEO who climbs the corporate ladder by ruthlessly exploiting their colleagues. They charm their way into promotions, leaving a trail of broken promises and shattered trust in their wake. Or picture a con artist who weaves elaborate lies, preying on the vulnerabilities of others for financial gain. These are just two examples of how primary psychopaths might operate in the real world. They're drawn to positions of power and often excel in environments where manipulation and ruthlessness are rewarded. They might be drawn to careers in business, politics, or even law enforcement. Their ability to remain calm under pressure, coupled with their lack of empathy, can make them appear fearless and decisive. However, this lack of emotional depth often leads to a trail of broken relationships and shattered lives. Secondary psychopathy, driven by inner turmoil. Unlike their more calculated counterparts, secondary psychopathy is characterized by a storm of emotions raging beneath the surface. These individuals aren't always as adept at hiding their true nature. They're often impulsive and reckless, driven by a need for immediate gratification. While they may share some traits with primary psychopaths, such as a lack of empathy and disregard for rules, their motivations stem from a different place. Secondary psychopaths are often plagued by anxiety, anger, and a deep-seated fear of rejection. These intense emotions can lead to impulsive behaviors and difficulty controlling their reactions. Imagine a person who lashes out with aggression when they feel threatened or abandoned. They act out of a place of deep-seated insecurity, seeking to control their environment and push away potential pain. This is a glimpse into the tumultuous inner world of someone with secondary psychopathy. Impulsivity unleashed. The actions of secondary psychopaths. Picture a young man who robs a convenience store on a whim, driven by a sudden urge for cash and a disregard for the consequences. Or envision a woman who engages in risky sexual behavior, fueled by a need for validation and a fear of intimacy. These are just two examples of how impulsivity and emotional volatility can manifest in the actions of someone with secondary psychopathy. They might struggle to hold down jobs, maintain stable relationships, or stay on the right side of the law. Their actions are often a desperate attempt to quiet the inner turmoil that plagues them. They seek solace in immediate gratification, even if it comes at the expense of others or their own long-term well-being. Two sides of the same coin, comparing and contrasting the types. Primary and secondary psychopathy, while distinct, share some common ground. Both types often struggle with empathy and remorse. They might engage in manipulative behavior and disregard societal rules. However, their motivations and the way these traits manifest can differ significantly. Primary psychopaths are often described as cold-hearted. They're calculated and controlled, driven by a desire for power and control. Secondary psychopaths, on the other hand, are more hot-headed. Their actions stem from a place of emotional instability, and a need to quell inner turmoil. Understanding these differences is crucial for accurate diagnosis and effective treatment. It's like treating a physical ailment. You wouldn't treat a broken bone the same way you would treat the flu. Similarly, addressing the underlying emotional turmoil of secondary psychopathy requires a different approach than the more cognitive-based interventions that might be effective for primary psychopathy. The ripple effect, societal impact, and the need for recognition. Psychopathy, in both its forms, can have a profound impact on society. The manipulative tactics of primary psychopaths can leave behind a trail of broken trust, financial ruin, and emotional devastation. The impulsive actions of secondary psychopaths can lead to violence, crime, and a general sense of unease in communities. Recognizing the signs of both types is crucial for protecting potential victims and holding individuals accountable for their actions. It's not about labeling people, but about understanding the motivations behind their behavior. This understanding is the first step in developing effective interventions and creating a safer society for everyone. However, it's important to remember that not every individual with psychopathic traits will engage in criminal or harmful behavior. Many lead productive lives, and it's crucial to avoid generalizations and stigma. A glimmer of hope. Treatment and the path to change. Treating psychopathy, particularly secondary psychopathy, is a complex and ongoing process. Traditional talk therapy, which relies heavily on empathy and emotional insight, might not be as effective for individuals who struggle with these very concepts. Instead, treatment often focuses on emotional regulation, impulse control, and developing alternative coping mechanisms. Teaching individuals to recognize and manage their emotions, particularly anger and anxiety, can help prevent impulsive actions and promote healthier decision-making. While there is no cure for psychopathy, with the right support and commitment to change, individuals can learn to navigate the world in a way that minimizes harm to themselves and others. Knowledge is power. The importance of understanding psychopathy. Psychopathy is a complex and often misunderstood disorder. It's easy to fall into the trap of stereotypes and fear-mongering. But by educating ourselves and separating fact from fiction, we can foster a more compassionate and informed approach to this challenging condition. Understanding the nuances of primary and secondary psychopathy is just the first step. By recognizing the signs, promoting early intervention, and supporting research into effective treatments, we can create a society where individuals with psychopathy are given the opportunity to lead fulfilling lives while minimizing harm to themselves and others. Knowledge is power, and in the case of psychopathy, it has the power to dismantle stigma, promote understanding, and ultimately foster a safer and more compassionate world.